It's not. Oh, there we go. Happy New Year! How great is it that it is 2021? I am Gina Bianchini, founder, CEO, Mighty Networks. I am here with Marnie Summerall, my partner in awesomeness, and a very valued member of our team. And I am really excited to see everybody here. What a turnout for New Year's Day. And I just want to say thank you for being a part of what I hope is going to be kind of a fun and special session that we are going to do together. So thank you all for joining us. Wow, we have got quite a group here. Robert, Chiquita, Kelly, Edward, Isabella, Flip, Jody, Jenny, Terry, and well, I think we are seeing Kelly multiple times here. Zenith, Brian, Elaine, you guys, thank you so much for being a part of this session this morning. And so without further ado, let's dive right on in. Marnie's going to go off camera, but she's going to come back and we're going to have an open conversation at the end of this session. Chiquita, this many people not hungover. That when I said that in offering this session that this was going to be a different kind of New Year's, that was kind of one of the many things that I meant. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. And so hopefully you all can see this presentation, Your Big Purpose 2021. One thing before we start, program note before we start, if you find yourself with any sort of glitches, go ahead and just refresh the screen. We use a platform called Crowdcast before we have our own Mighty Networks native live streaming, which is coming in 2021, which is super exciting. And yet in the interim, we use our friends at Crowdcast that are awesome. And sometimes you just need to refresh the screen, which is a metaphor, not just for live streaming, but for life itself. Okay, so in terms of what we are going to cover today, let's start with the basics. Happy New Year. This is an opportunity for a fresh start. This is also an opportunity to take just a different approach, a different mindset to the things that are important to you. And while, there is this whole set of stories about how people just keep up with something for a week and then they let it go and like all of that stuff. Let's put all of that aside because today we are going to try to do something a little bit different. We're going to do more than try. We are going to embrace a different way of looking at the things that we value, the things that we want to invest in, and the things that ultimately provide the impact that we want to have on the people in the world around us. So with that, I want to offer three things in this session that we are here together to guide and to navigate. One, a new way of thinking about goals and goal setting. And you'll see this throughout, and then I'll bring it together kind of at the end. I want to also provide a connection between your values, your motivation, and the calendar that you keep in the context of your big purpose. I believe that there are really only four things that make the biggest difference in our ability to build new habits, build new practices, and align our lives in the ways that we want to, and get out of the things that are things we know we want to do, but we just, have all of these reasons for not doing it. And lastly, I want to talk about common myths keeping all of us from fully realizing the impact that we want to have on our lives, on the people around us, and also to seize the business opportunities that are there right in front of us that sometimes feel like they're so much further away. And I certainly feel that often and have found a couple of things that have worked well for me that I want to share this morning. So with that, let's start at the top with your big purpose. And I'm going to call this your big purpose 2021 because we're together on New Year's Day 2021. Your big purpose is your personal motivation for the life that you want to live and the impact that you want to have on the world around you. And we talk about your big purpose in the context of community building here at Mighty Networks, here in the context of our Community Design Masterclass, which if you haven't done it, it's going to be a lot of this, plus a lot more concrete, hands-on, awesome things for you to really be able to take and make your own. But as we think about your big purpose in the context of you and you at this moment, it is really about motivation for the life you want to live. But much more importantly, we as people have been put on this earth to have an impact, to connect with other people so that we can influence and impact outcomes and a journey that each and every one of us want to take towards something bigger than ourselves. And that is the power of what we are able to do even here this morning in this session. This seems like it should go without saying. And I even had a moment where I was putting this together where I was like, do I really need to have a whole slide that says the following? We are each meant to have a big purpose. And then I thought about it. And I was like, yes, we're going to put a slide because it matters. Each and every one of us, not just the folks that are watching this live and being a part of this morning live, but if you're watching the replay that will inevitably happen from this, but also each and every one of the people that you impact, the people that are in your household right now, hopefully asleep upstairs or have just gotten up here on the West Coast, or the members that you are bringing together, the people that need you now and need a community now more than ever. They woke up this morning and they just don't know about you yet, or they are just discovering you and what you are bringing to this world at this moment. And what we know is that each and every one of us is meant to have a big purpose. That is what makes us human beings. And outside of and after our basic needs, food, shelter, it's really about love, and it is about impact and purpose. And that is why we are here. So I thought one of the things that would be fun perhaps to share is, my big purpose and the big purpose that, the team that we've brought together here at Mighty Networks has. And so I want to just sort of share this as an example of a big purpose, which is our own and my own, which is I wake up every day committed to creating a world where there are 1 million unique and vibrant communities led by creators, bringing people together around a big purpose to master something interesting or important to them. And I believe that the world of 1 million unique and vibrant and interesting communities led by creators like you, led by brands that have the opportunity to create their own cultures away from the noise and clutter and really some terrible habits that have emerged in social media is the future. And it is something that is exciting because it means we have control over our own ability to go deeper around the things that are important to us, whether that's our career, whether that is new practices and habits for health and wellness, whether that is other important interests from parenting to personal finance. We know that there is so much more opportunity for us to live a rich and vibrant life and realize our full potential and help other people realize their full potential as well. And sure, there might be cynics among us that say, oh, is that really possible? That sounds like so much frou-frou. And the reality is that whether you look at it from a science lens, a psychological lens, a anthropological lens, a data lens, any other lens, the opportunity today for each of us to bring a community of people together to master something interesting or important to them has never been higher or, more importantly, more valuable to each and every one of us. So that is an example of my big purpose and why I am here and why we are here together this morning. And so, as I have this big purpose, I have this desire and this burning passion for bringing 1 million unique and vibrant communities into this world that are led by creators, where people are able to not just earn a living, but generate resources that make each and every one of these communities more unique and more relevant and more valuable to the members around the things that they want to master, around the things that are most important to them. In this context, I've actually learned a couple of things, actually 4 things that we're going to talk about this morning, that make realizing your big purpose. That it sounds heady, 1 million. The thing about it is it's not. We have tripled in size this year at Mighty Networks, pretty much across every metric we have. And what I want to share this morning are the things that I have found, not just for myself, but I certainly have seen across our team, as well as the nearly 10,000 incredible creators and brands who are hosting Mighty Networks, really successful Mighty Networks today, how they are realizing and we are realizing each and every one of our big purposes. So I want to share these 4 things. So in this context, I want to share these 4 things. And this is what we're going to talk about, and I hope have a vibrant conversation ourselves at the end of some of these prepared ideas. But these 4 things have made the biggest difference in my life over the last 12 months. And I have seen them work over and over again among so many people who are starting from a place of, can I do this? To, oh my gosh, I did this. And so let's dive into what those are. So 1, the opportunity that each and every one of us has to choose different stories. The stories we tell ourselves are one of, I believe, the most underutilized and underappreciated assets that each and every one of us bring to the table. And again, after our basic needs, food, shelter, connection comes next. And as we think about the stories that we tell ourselves, they make the biggest difference in whether or not we believe something is possible or whether something is impossible. So how we manage our own stories and our opportunity to tell different stories is one of those things that you have right now. Just watching this, just showing up, that I want to help you take advantage of. 2nd, harnessing the full power of community. And that sounds so fluffy, and community, it just gets used in so many different ways. But I want to offer in this session a very concrete way of thinking about and utilizing community to achieve the results and transformation that each and every one of us want, not just in our own lives as creators, as mentors, as hosts, but also in the lives of our members. 3rd, this sounds super obvious when you think about it, but this is where you will spend the most amount of time on this. I don't even have a name for this program. Just as your big purpose 2021, using your calendar as your own source of truth. Is your time matching your big purpose? Is it consistent with your big purpose? Is it aligned with your big purpose? And are you utilizing your time, your resources, your energy, your focus in a way that ladders up to creating something bigger than yourself and ultimately having the impact both in the life that you want to live and the results and transformation that you are able to help unlock in the lives of people around you? Your calendar is, again, one of your most underutilized and underappreciated assets. Stories, community, calendar. And lastly, I want to encourage you to replace goals and goal setting with painting a vivid picture of the world that you want to live in. And that is easier said than done. It's actually kind of hard, but when you have it, something magical happens. When when I talk about 1 million unique and vibrant communities, mastering something interesting or important to them, led by creators with their own rich, unique, and interesting cultures and ways of doing things and success and results and transformation that they have in their lives. I can see it. And that is what fuels me. And I think when you are able to create a vibrant picture of the world that you want to live in, what the impact is when you are able to do these things that ladder up to something much bigger, something really magical can happen. And so with that, let's dive into some of these details. So let's start with choosing different stories. So what do I mean by this? Well, I just, a little show of hands, anybody who any of these things, you've heard yourself say them to yourself or to other people. Just give me a show of hands. No one wants another login. It has a great friend, which is everyone is so busy today. Everybody's too busy to join a new community. Everybody's too busy for this new idea that I have. I have to do it in the places that everybody else is already. Like, those are some of the things that I regularly hear. On the other side of things, when we start to get to, okay, well, who's your community for? One of the things I hear regularly, and I bet there's at least one person on this session this morning that has said this, which is everyone can benefit from my community. I don't want to have to choose. My community is going to be for everybody who wants to be more curious, or everybody who wants to be more connected to their career goals or ambitions. So everybody can benefit from my community. So I don't want to have to make decisions about the ideal member that I want to serve. How many people? Okay, Flip, Kelly, I see you. I'm going to believe that this is not, you guys are not the only two people here who have ever said these. Another one I have heard over and over again is charging money feels wrong for a community. I don't want to leave people out. Maybe I can contort myself in all of these different ways so that I can justify not charging people for my time, my effort, the community that I am bringing together, the relationships that I am actually able to make and facilitate between my members in service of and in search of common goals and being a part of something bigger than ourselves in terms of building new skills and realizing the results and transformation that we want in our lives. Another one, I haven't done this before, so I need to offer it for free. Like, no one's going to pay me for something that I haven't done until now. So I have to do a beta version and I have to do it for free. And then only after maybe 6 months can I start to charge. This actually turns out to be one of the worst decisions that you can make because of the way that communities work and where and how you're investing your time and your energy. I am seeing more and more people start to raise their hand here. I will not call you out, but it's nice to see you. Thank you. My value is my content. How many people have said that? I'm seeing a few folks here. It's all about content. I have to produce content. It's about my writing. It's about my videos. It's about the content that I am producing. Which, by the way, I think content alone is going to kill the creator movement. And that when you think about content, you are leaving so much value on the table. And then lastly, and this is something that I hear a lot, which is my personal brand needs to be perfect. I need to present myself as an expert. I need to present myself as having it all together. And these are the things. If I look back and as I reflected over the last few days of the things I've heard the most in 2020, it is actually, and before, one of the things that I think is so fascinating is these narratives, these stories that we are telling ourselves are not working for people. And also, they're not true. They are not working for people and they are not true. So let me offer a different set of stories for the exact same things. Different set of stories for the exact same things as a way to demonstrate that the stories we tell ourselves about what is possible and impossible is one of our greatest assets that not a lot of us are utilizing. So let me offer different stories. I am here to find people who need my big purpose the most right now, all caps. It's not about selling anyone. It's about surfacing a mutual fit with the right people. Do you hear how different that is? And also, when you start to think about it, and if it doesn't resonate with you right now, let it sit for a little bit, because now all of a sudden it goes from being, gosh, I'm afraid to talk to people because they're going to tell me no. No one likes rejection. No one likes to know or think about the fact that they are going to be told no. And so when we start from a place of everybody's so busy, nobody wants another login, but I'm going to go and talk to them about this new community that I am building away from the noise and clutter of social media in a world that is all of our own, so that we can focus and achieve the results and transformation that we want in our lives. If we're telling ourselves the story that everybody's so busy, we're going to show up apologetic for the amazing value that we are bringing. So when we reframe to a new story, we reframe to, I am looking for the people who need this community the most right now, there is power in that, because it takes all of that anxiety out. Because when somebody tells you no, the answer isn't, oh my gosh, I'm failing, I'm a failure. It's, oh, they're not the right fit for this thing I know needs to exist in the world. And where I actually now can go, I want fast no's, because I want to go find that person who needs this community now more than ever. Now more than ever. People want results and transformation, and a community is the single most powerful means of getting people results that they can't get on their own. This is just a true statement. This is just a true statement. But when you start to think about it in this way, it's not about your content, and it's not about you producing content that people are paying you for. When you have the opportunity to reframe to a different story, one that is about results and transformation and getting people results and transformation as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible, you end up doing different things. I had a conversation with a creator yesterday, somebody who's on Mighty Networks and is wonderfully experimental. Say to me, well, I'm building this PDF for this ebook that I want to sell. And I looked at the ebook and I just said, I was like, if you want to get people results and transformation with their physical fitness, with their diet, with their exercise, a PDF is not going to get the job done. A community where people are showing up to contribute every day is the way that they are going to take your amazing information and insights and the journey that you're creating for them. It's static in a PDF. It's living and breathing and rich and vibrant when you do it in a community, which is why a community is able to get people results and transformation so much more effectively than anything your content can produce. Anything. Your content can bring people together, but it's the community that you are building that is going to ultimately get people the results and transformation in their lives. And here's the thing we know. People pay for results and transformation. That is why there are millions of people who have somewhere in the back of their garage a Thigh Master. They pay for results and transformation. And you are sitting on one of the most important aspects and assets to results and transformation, which is this power of a community. Now, let's talk and shift to why you can charge for a community. So not only is it one of the most effective ways to get people consistency, get people building new practices and habits, which ultimately then become second nature. And so they become so much easier because they don't have to use their self-discipline. They don't have to spend time every day psyching themselves up to do that thing that by day 5 or day 14 is just so hard. When you have a community, it's just, it becomes social. to do the things that you want to do and build the practices that you want to build. For example, I really wanted to explore these topics. And so what did I do? The first thing I did is I was like, let's do this as an event. Let's do this as a community. And it made it so much easier and so much more fun to think about it, to prep for it, and obviously to be here this morning with us together. So that's the power of a community. So when you start to think about it that way, it's like, this community shouldn't be free. This should be a paid community, because not because it's icky to charge and I'm, trying to hustle or anything like that. When you reframe charging money for a community or for a paid program or a course, you are essentially enabling and encouraging and allowing people to pay attention in a much more significant way. Why? Because people pay attention to what they pay for. And when they pay attention and they pay more attention, they're more likely to get results. They're more likely to build better practices. They're more likely to engage and connect with the other people who are in their community. They're more likely to show up and look at a text message and do the thing that they would otherwise, without a text message from all the other people who are doing it, the social proof, as we say, they wouldn't necessarily do that. That is valuable. And that is not icky. That is not, I have to donate my time in order to have an impact. You have a better impact when you charge, because people pay attention to what they pay for. And because as you get more resources, because you're charging for it, it means you have more money, which means you have more time to be able to invest in creating a community that is so valuable to people that they are paying attention to it and getting the value from it. You're able to create something so much more valuable to people and have a bigger impact, reach more people, see through their ability to create new practices, new habits in their lives. And that is a virtuous cycle. It's a flywheel that says, as people are paying more attention because they're paying for something, they're actually seeing better results in transformation, which means I'm going to have better testimonials and more people who are making the change in their life that they want to see, which also means I'm generating more resources to bring that to more people or to offer it in more ways, more deep ways that get more people that value. And now you can have a bigger and bigger impact that essentially has the wind at your back. Lastly, people do not want perfection. I think we've in our Instagram world of perfection, I think or Pinterest for that matter, we've lost a little bit of humanity. And here's the thing that I know to be true. When you start with your expertise or your credentials, people are intimidated and you separate yourself from them. So the very members that you want to have an impact on, the people around you that need you the most right now, they don't need your expertise. They don't need your perfection. They need to know that you're 1 or 2 steps ahead of them and that you face the same challenges. You face the same narratives that you were able to change. And they want to understand your journey. They're not looking for your expertise. They're looking for examples of people that are 1 or 2 steps ahead of them. That's all. That's all it needs to be. And how you, I should say, are living your life and the decisions and choices that you're making so that they can see how they can make them in their own lives as well. It's not about perfection. It is about the power of a before and after. And so when you think about this, look at how different each and every one of these stories are from the prior page. The old world, no one wants a login. Everybody can benefit. Charging money feels wrong. I haven't done this before, so I have to offer it for free. My value is the content, and I need to show a personal brand that's perfect. None of it's true. Rather, you are here to find the people that need you the most and need your community and each other the most right now. And the more specific you can be with your ideal member, the better value you are creating for your members and for you. People want results and transformation, and they will pay attention to what they pay for. Getting them better results and transformation and getting you resources that are ultimately going to allow you to expand and grow and have an impact on more and more people. And lastly, people do not want perfection. They want to know that the journey in front of them to achieve the results and transformation that they want in their lives is achievable. It is accessible because someone else has already done it. That's not starting with your years of experience that they can't get to. It's not starting with your expertise or your certifications. It starts with your story. So that is the power of telling yourself different stories and choosing different stories over the ones that are holding us back. So now let's shift into our final 3 aspects of your Big Purpose 2021, harnessing the full power of community. I think I covered a few of the key pieces here, but just to sort of synthesize it down a little bit further and hopefully make it clear, a community is the easiest way for people to get results, full stop. And the reason it is the easiest way to get people results, including yourself, is because a community is the easiest way to create consistent practices. Consistent practices build new habits. And new habits mean that each and every one of us are exerting less work or self-discipline in doing something new than it would take if we were doing it on our own. And this goes not just for your members, but for you and for each of us. And so when possible, and it's one of the reasons we're here together this morning, stay close to your own community and whatever you want to do. When you have an opportunity to choose between doing something awesome as a PDF or doing something as a community, do it as a community. You will create more value and you will not end up doing more work. Because when you have a static PDF, it doesn't offer more value. It doesn't expand. It doesn't make connections between members, and it doesn't make connections between you and the impact that you want to have on the world. So that's content. This is the combination of community and content, which is really where the power comes from. Now, let's talk about your calendar as your source of truth. So I looked at this morning. It was exciting, a little intimidating, but it felt really good. So I took a screenshot and I thought we'd just sit on this for a moment. Just hang back, look at the potential of our calendar in front of us, because this is one of the most important decisions that you make today and every day, which is where and how are you going to spend your time? And are you aligning your calendar with the things that are important to you? Whether that's, again, the life you want to live, the impact that you want to have on the people in the world around you, and the closer that you are aligned between your values and your time, the more powerful you are and the bigger impact that you can have. So, what does this start to look like? And so I want to offer a few questions for you to be able to tackle today. And we'll post these in Mighty Hosts. How does my calendar reflect my values, my goals, and my big purpose? And this is actually something I'm going to do this afternoon, because I'm really excited about, what I can learn from this for my own calendar and my own time. Does it reflect my values, my goals and my big purpose? Are the things that I am making time for things that either, do or don't align with the things that I want to accomplish in 2021? I have found that the more ruthless I am about my calendar, the more that I have, again, this is a different story. The story I tell myself is I am allowed to cancel any meeting at any point in time if I do not believe that it is serving my values, my goals, or my big purpose as much as something else that I can do. That was a big change. And I'm not always perfect at it and great at it, but just the ability to look at my calendar, look at the week ahead and cancel things and unapologetically so has been one of the most freeing things for me to actually achieve more this year than I have had the opportunity to do in past and prior years, in part because, as the world shut down, all of those things that I didn't have to do kind of fell by the wayside. And I want to preserve that in 2021. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that as well. A few other questions that are worth pursuing and exploring. Does my calendar reflect my highest and best use? And you don't have to know your superpower, just, is it reflecting my highest and best use? When I think about the things that I get the most energy from, when I think about the things that are finding flow or that feel effortless to me, and does it reflect in my calendar? Am I doing more of the things that bring me energy, that bring out my creativity, that are aligned with my values, my goals, and my big purpose? Or am I finding myself exhausted at the end of the day because I'm doing a bunch of things that are not aligned with my values, my goals, and my big purpose? For example, what activities drain you? What activities drain you? And this goes back to, at some moment, you're going to tell yourself a story about why you have to do something, that it's the way you're keeping food on the table. It's the way that you are protecting your family. It's the way that you're doing X, Y, or Z. But if it is draining you, there are different ways to achieve the same goals and have an even bigger impact in your life. And it is about choosing where you invest your time and your energy around the things that feel effortless, bring you energy, versus the things that are a drain. Okay, then as you kind of have this picture and you're starting to get a sense of what, this time inventory, if you will, what's the one thing I can do to extract myself from what's draining? Just one thing. You don't do everything. You don't have to basically tell everybody to screw off. What is one thing you can do to extract yourself from the things that are draining you? Just one. And then what is one thing you can do to invest in more activities that bring you energy? That bring you energy. So what brings you energy? What's draining you? What is just one thing you can commit to? And let's even put a finer point on it. What is one thing you can commit to for 4 weeks? It has to be small because you want to commit to it for 4 weeks. That's it. In these questions, there's at least 1 or 2 small things that you can unlock to align your calendar, your time, with more productive stories that ultimately ladder up to your big purpose and realizing your big purpose, the kind of life you want to live, and the kind of impact that you want to have on the people in the world around you. I'm going to do one thing here because I think actually it's hard to understand whether your calendar is your highest and best use. So let's see. I'm going to just leave it there. I'm going to take that out because I think this whole conversation about your superpowers is very stressful. I don't know what my superpowers are. I do know, and I can actually say, though, what brings me energy or feels effortless or what's a drain. And so we're going to just stay focused on that. This is another example of trying new things, being flexible, and that this is a conversation, not the perfect production of content. So hopefully you picked up on me modeling that. All right. Here's something I've learned as it relates to our calendars. The more often you measure your calendar, the faster you're going to see results. So don't wait to do a quarterly or an annual review of your calendar. One of the things I heard, I think I read it once in a book, which was so helpful. And I'll share it with you all because I thought it made, and it's actually made a huge difference for me, which is I read the story of a shop owner who every Sunday night had blocked off on her calendar an hour from 5 to 6 p.m. where she reviewed the week that she just finished and thought about essentially a quick retrospective. What went well? What went less well? What does she want to do differently in the week ahead? And when you do something that simple, maybe it only takes you 30 minutes. When you do something that simple, but you do it regularly, you do it with consistency, magic happens. And so if you can, even once you get off this session, start with a blank calendar for the year and just what is that 30-minute block where you can measure, you can reflect on your calendar the week behind and look to the week ahead. And again, it takes a little bit of courage, but not a lot to say, I am going to structure my week. I'm going to structure my days in such a way that I am doing more of what brings me energy and that then I can offer more value and less that drains me. And I'm going to measure it on a weekly basis. Lastly, and we are coming to the end of our Big Purpose 2021 before we'll go into questions and conversation. I want to encourage you to replace goals with specific numbers with simply painting a vivid picture of the world that you want. Again, this isn't easy necessarily, but it's not as hard as I thought it would be. And what this starts to look like is a vivid picture in your own mind, but also when you have a vivid picture, a picture really does say 1,000 words. And more importantly, it is fuel. When you can picture the world that you are creating, through your community, through where you are spending time, through the different stories that you are choosing over ones that no longer work for you, you have an opportunity to create results and transformation and have an impact on the world around you that is more profound than any of us are thinking about this morning. And only through painting this vivid picture do we start to see and make the connections and match the patterns and say all of a sudden, oh my goodness, this is powerful. I can do so much more because I've gotten rid of the stories. I've gotten rid of the things that are draining me. And I am building a picture, a vivid picture of the world that I want to be a part of creating. And when I think about sort of the three main questions, I think about who is better off because you invested in your big purpose. What does a day in your own life look like? Because again, the more that you are crafting your time and crafting your schedule, and some of us have more control over our schedule than others, but we also can work towards more control over our schedule, over our calendar, in service of investing in your big purpose. You can start then to see who's better off, what is my life like, and how does the world look differently to me and to my members and to other people from today. Where are we today and where are we going? So some of the sub questions in this, and I'm a big believer in the more specific questions that you ask yourself as you do these types of guided sessions, the better, which is, who is better off because you invested in your big purpose? Do you have a clear picture of this ideal member? This is the person who needs you and your community the most right now. And that might be from a business perspective. It might be somebody who is in your house right now. What are they able to do a year from now that they're not able to do today? This is one of my favorite questions. We use this in community design. And I think it is so relevant to think about and exciting. It's exciting when you can start to think about what someone is able to do today, or excuse me, a year from now that they're not necessarily able to do today. How are you showing up for your family, your friends, and the people that you value? This is why we're here. It's not about necessarily the people who are on the other side of your screen or the people that are in your community, but also the people that are in your house right now and the people that you care about. How are you investing in those relationships, and how are they better off because of the investments that you're making in those relationships? How are you fueling your own energy and your own ability to impact? Again, creating this flywheel is so powerful. And in fact, actually, I'm taking a note because I'm going to make that into something because I think it's cool. Then what resources do you have to bring to your big purpose to make it even more awesome? That's this notion of people paying attention to what they pay for, generating resources that you can reinvest into your big purpose, bringing it to more people, bringing people results and transformation even more effectively and faster because of the time and the resources that you're now able to invest in that. That is a flywheel. That is what I'm going to create a slide about. I'm very excited about this. But also, now that you have more resources, how would you want to deploy them? How would you want to create something that is deeper and more meaningful for your members? And also, how do you reach more members as a result of the resources that you're able to generate from this network, from this community that gets more valuable to every member with each new person who joins and contributes? And then what does a day in the life of your life look like? You can think about it for your members, but you can also think about it for you. And these are some great ones. They're very specific for all of the right reasons because we know ourselves better. We can actually say, what time do we want to get up in the morning versus what we're able to do today? What do you do first thing in the morning? Morning practices, morning papers, morning rituals, one of the most important things that you can invest in because it allows you to build your practices and reinforce those different stories you're telling yourself, the community that you're investing in, the way that you're thinking about your calendar, and the intention that you are bringing to the day in front of you. And then lastly, being able to just spend some time creating that vivid picture of the world that you want to create. And then lastly, how does the world look different? So for example, in my big purpose and our big purpose, people are spending more time in sessions like this, in communities like Mighty Hosts and the Community Design Masterclass, communities like yours, than what we are spending in social media, that the structure is a feed whizzing by with all sorts of different topics and distractions and outrage and doom scrolling. And that is not the world that we want to live in. That is the present. We believe in something that is different. And that is what we, with clarity, can wake up and think about and work on every day as we bring it closer and closer to each and every one of our realities. So as we think about this, these four amazing things, this again is our world, the world that we're excited about creating. And I want to invite you to take the time today, or take the time the next time you have even 30 minutes, and just start to write. If you get stuck on the world that you want to create, just sit there for a little while. Don't give up. Because what I have certainly experienced and found is sometimes I have to sit there for 10 or 15 minutes, and then ideas start to emerge that I didn't think were there. And a picture just gets clearer and clearer to me. This vision of 1 million unique and vibrant communities mastering something interesting and important together, led by creators like you, It's so vivid. I can see it. I can feel it. And it's why it makes all the things that we do feel so natural and feel so normal, is because we're already living in the future. And I want the same thing for you. You have such an amazing opportunity in front of us, and we need you. Your members need you, because a community is the single best way for any of us to belong to something bigger than ourselves, achieve bigger common goals that we couldn't ever achieve on our own, build new skills and new habits, navigate challenges with vulnerability, and replace fear with knowing that we have a supportive community, that we can navigate these things together. That is the power of what each and every one of us are doing, and why I want to invite you to harness this power in your own life and the lives of your members. So with that, choose different stories, harness the full power of community, use your calendar as your source of truth, and paint a vivid picture of the world that you want to live in. These are what I want to invite you to embrace for your big purpose and bringing your big purpose to life in 2021. And lastly, before we take some questions and conversation, I just want to invite you to lean into our community in 2021. Here at Mighty Networks and in Mighty Hosts, our community for other hosts of Mighty Networks, we have multiple programs, whether that is our Mighty Business Hosts group for folks that are taking advantage of bringing courses and community analytics and integrations together in one place. Whether that is our Community Design Masterclass, and we start our next Community Design Masterclass this Tuesday, January 5th, where over 5 weeks we go through what you need to create a community so valuable you can charge for it, and so well designed that it essentially runs itself, which is easier than it sounds. And we'll show you how to do that. Mighty Refresh, a program that we just launched at the end of 2020, so that if you ever get stuck, you have the peace of mind going into creating a community that there is a place for you, and we are there in it to ensure that you can get back on track or reignite your community or just get unstuck in so many different ways. And as you can tell in all of this, this is more than software. Software is a facilitator for this amazing community of people who are creating and building our way towards this new world of 1 million unique and vibrant communities, mastering something interesting or important together, whether that's for careers, whether that's for health or wellness or spiritual practices, or whether that's for other important interests, from personal finance to parenting and retirement and everything in between. This is what we do, and this is what community is, what we do as human beings. And we are here to bring together a community that makes it even easier for you to achieve your goals. So with that, I just want to thank you. I'm going to bring Marnie back here and hopefully have a little bit of a conversation after I have some water.
All right.
Yeah. Our big purpose 2021.
So great. And I just want to say, first of all, in the comments, hopefully you experienced the power of doing this together, because there are so many aha moments and epiphanies as folks shared. One that I really liked was Mophope, I hope I'm saying your name right, that you think about it as my journey, not my expertise. People are talking about connection, not perfection. So this is exactly what we're talking about when we talk about harnessing the power of the community. Is hopefully you got a taste of that this morning. Gina, you dropped a comment early on that I've got Tobin and Doug very curious about, which is why and how you think that content or content alone is killing the creator movement, or what we'll call it.
Yeah, I'm happy to share. Content is hard, it's expensive, And if you don't have any place that you are using, that you are bringing people to build new relationships and connections between people, you have to keep doing it. You have to keep feeding the beast. And one thing we know here in Silicon Valley is that if you have a choice between building a content business or building what's called a network effect business, meaning you are actually convening people and you are bringing them together so that they can actually build relationships between each other, or with each other, I should say, that is a more powerful first of all, mechanism for people to achieve the results and transformation that they want. It means people will actually spend more time in what you are creating when you have a network effect. And it's also significantly less work for you as a creator or a host. So when you take these things together, it's also like, so if it's still not clear why, just think about it this way. If all I have is a blog or an email newsletter, and that is what people are paying a digital subscription for, then the reason they're going to continue to pay that digital subscription is because I'm writing every week or I'm writing every day, whether that's a daily newsletter or a weekly newsletter. And if I stop writing, guess what happens? There is no more, there's no product. People are going to stop paying. Now, compare that to what I just described in a network effect, meaning I'm using content, and this is why I say it's content alone that will kill the creator movement. If I'm using content like this session to bring people together, but then everybody is contributing their stories, their ideas, their experiences. Now, for any one person, they have a multitude of reasons to come back. Like you guys are all interacting with each other. I don't have anything to do with it. Well, I have a little something to do with that this morning. So it's your network effect. And then when each new person comes in, that's another, as the nerds call it, node in the network. And that is powerful. And that in and of itself is a business and an asset. Facebook doesn't produce content. Instagram doesn't produce content. They enable the network effect to happen. And what we know is that would you rather be Instagram or would you rather be the New York Times? Any logical business person would say you'd rather be Instagram in terms of impact, in terms of size, in terms of scale, in terms of revenue. And so that is the difference. So I believe passionately that what we are seeing emerge in the creator movement will move from content alone to this network effect. And that is why we exist as a platform and why we are here.
Great. I think Sean and Nishinda both were asking and feeling a little bit uncomfortable about the why will people pay for community or that values. I think that you just really covered that. So I just wanted to highlight that for them. And then I have a fun question to close us out here. Amy is curious about what is the most exciting thing that we have in the pipeline for 2021.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I don't know if I can choose an answer to that, but
I don't think I can choose. I don't know if it's a little bit like I'm just excited about all of the different things that we've even started working on, at the end of the year, and we'll be releasing, in the next few months. I'll tell you, for me, what is fueling my energy right now is the fact that with the numbers that we are seeing, with the growth that we are seeing, and even I ran my first virtual conference on a Mighty Network and Zoom on Monday, and it was so special. It's just special. So when I see sort of the actual experiences and I look at the numbers, here's what I know to be true. We all have everything we need right now with the feature set that Mighty Networks has, to create something incredibly special. There, you know, will live streaming help? Yes. Will custom profile fields help? Yes. Will it be more fun to have, you know, the ability to quickly go live and some of the other things that we're looking at? Are we excited about the new branding options that we're going to have coming out? Yes, 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 yes. But here's the thing that I would say is the most exciting to me is with everything we have right now, with events and the ability to go, you know, to go live through Zoom right now or Crowdcast or anything else, magic is happening. Your opportunity to build something special around your big purpose is here today. And that to me is the most exciting and the most energizing aspect of anything that we're doing right now. Also, you guys are rad. So
that always adds amazing fuel to anything that we're excited about, for sure.
Well, thank you all for being a part of this morning. Or I keep saying this morning because it's morning our time. Thank you for being a part of this session. We're incredibly grateful for you. We are creating a community because we believe in everything that we've shared this morning. The power of different stories, the just obviousness of community to help each and every one of us achieve our goals, the use of calendar and alignment of time to purpose, and this opportunity each and every one of us has to create a vivid picture of the world that we want to live in. And with that, I will welcome you and invite you to our Community Design Masterclass that's starting next, to our Mighty Business hosts and just the opportunities that we offer with our software and the communities that we are building. And also, if you are struggling, we are here with the Mighty Refresh. We leave no host behind. And there is all sorts of opportunities in front of each and every one of us this year. And I hope you'll take today to relax and reflect and celebrate with the people that you love. So with that, we will see you online.